Welcome to Think It, which is part of the Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Program. My name is Annabelle, and I'm the Senior Entrepreneurship Officer here at GBS. And today we're having a fun interactive workshop all about the business model canvas. And basically, we're going to go through what business models should you choose, what are business models, and today's speaker is OJ, and he's a lecturer here at GBS, but I'll allow him to introduce himself when he's taking you through today's workshop. But if you've got questions and stuff, we can do those at the end, or we can do them throughout, depending on what you prefer, OJ. But that's it in terms of my intro. So please, OJ, over to you.
Thank you very much, Annabelle. I'm OJ, Olushe Jigede, but people call me OJ, and I think I love it that way. So this afternoon I'll be discussing the business model canvas. I'll just share my screen. As much as possible, I want us to make it as interactive as possible, so that we can make the most of this short workshop. So business model canvas, I call it the lean launchpad, but not me. Steve calls it the lean launchpad. It means when the business wants to take off, it is very important for the business to start lean, start small, and then grow very fast. When the business starts small, then the business has the opportunity, or there's allowance for the business to make a lot of mistakes, and then the business can learn from the mistakes when the business is too small, compared to when the business attempts to start big and then fails along the line. So if you fail at the early stage, it's still fine. It's part of the learning process. You can easily pivot and make the required changes and then move on. I'd like us to begin to think about something. Most small businesses that we know about, why do they fail within the first 2 years, or within the first 3 years, within the first 5 years? Most 90%, 80% of small businesses fail within the first 3 years. Why? The question is why. Little by background, I'm Olushe Jegede. I'm the visiting associate professor at the University of Johannesburg. I am a researcher. I actively write papers in the field of entrepreneurship and innovation. This is evidenced by the papers I've published, which you can see. These are just some of them, and then you can see my citation here on Google Scholar, 555 citations on papers. Now, like I said, let's think through, why would small businesses fail within what they're still growing, even when they have customers? Do we have any suggestion, any ideas from the floor? Any?
Feel free to unmute yourself and
please feel free to unmute yeah. Please feel free to unmute. You can I think we should interact. That would work best. We're not so many, so I think it's fine. Okay, let me ask you, how many of us have started a business before, and maybe the business is just there, or the business failed? How many of us? I'm waiting for. Okay, who has a business amongst you? I'm not getting any response, not even a chat in the box. Are people here?
Hi.
Yes, okay, good.
Yeah, Can I?
Yeah, please go for it.
Yeah, I have a business now, which I'm starting to grow. The business been registered in 2020s, and we started working after COVID. We are doing cleaning services.
How is the business now?
We start to grow this business. At the moment, we are doing only domestic cleaning, which I would like to do commercial cleaning in the future. In the next future, I mean, in the next 6 months, 1 year.
Thank you very much for that. Another person?
Thank you.
So that's services. I would like to hear if any one of you have started a business as into product, physical product or goods. Okay, so most businesses fail because when those okay, sorry, Iron, you not.
Yes, I have a business in painting decorating.
Okay.
I'm I'm struggling to update it, but I hope in one day will be fine.
You hope that
Uh,
one day it will be fine. Hope. Okay. Your hope is based on what?
Painting decorating or
No, I
construction
mean,
renovating.
I mean, I'm just picking on what you said. You said you hope that one day it will be fine, right? So
Yes.
what is informing your hope? What is your hope on? Are you just hoping that by chance, or you maybe believe that God would help you or something like
Uh,
that?
I'm trying and I'm trying and I seriously struggling to find seriously uh, partners. Partners, I don't know, partners who can provide the jobs, uh, I don't know, customer to understand some good thing, what they can bring you extra quality or I don't know. Maybe I'm in the not in the right position at the moment and I must still work on it
So how did you get started? Why are you into printing business?
because this is what I'm doing from 2008.
Okay, okay.
And
Uh,
I work in different country and maybe I had bigger success in different country.
Okay, okay. Um, okay, fine. Before we move on, another person, before we move on. Okay, fine. We've looked at the business in the service sector. We've looked at the business in the man in okay, both actually services, painting is also social services. But the question is this: if you're struggling, if the cleaning business is moving a bit slowly, the question is why? And I can actually tell you straight well, that the reason why the business is or this business appears to be struggling is because you didn't do the right things you ought to do. I mean, the right things you ought to have done in the beginning. The question is this: what are you doing differently? What are you doing
Uh,
differently?
for example, in different country, I didn't had any reason to approach
Customers.
a job.
Okay.
The customer was searching for me. Here, even if I try with all, I check all the five companies who provide jobs, Check a Trade, My Builder, Book a Trade, My Job Code. I can say 90% from their leads are scams. Uh,
Okay.
you send,
So, so were
you
you
answer
running
to
that?
10
What
leads,
what country were you running the business before?
you contact the customer, they even reply you back. They say yes or no.
And you pay for that.
And for all these services, me or my company, we pay. But when you pay for 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 100 leads, and you see people even reacting on your interest, in that moment arrive that word, how to say, disappointing.
Okay, fine. I see your frustration, but let me ask you, what terrain, what country did you start the business? Because if here in the UK you're struggling, um,
I work in Italy, I work in Switzerland, I've worked and I had jobs with my
okay,
company. I've worked in Romania, and that's it.
okay. So yeah, thank you for providing background to us and the context. The fact that your business worked in a particular country does not mean that it will work in another country. Now, for every terrain, you need to, like I said, you need to start lean. You need to start small. And the reason why you're starting small is because you want to learn all the lessons you can learn. Yeah. So at this time of your business, is the time that you are going to learn all the lessons. And then there are 9 lessons that you need to learn, or the 9 things you need to do before you even start the business in the UK, anywhere else. There are nine. There are nine things you need to check. After those nine canvases, there are still other things you need to do. The first thing you need to do is this is what I call the business model canvas, your initial idea. When you start a business, you need to have an initial idea. You need to have a business model that you're running with, and this is different from a business plan. A business plan is what you have, what you do when your business has taken off, and then you want to grow your business. But when you want to start a business, before you start that business, before you commit money to that business, you need to go through this 9 business model canvas. You need to ask yourself some basic questions. Only when you can answer those questions and you have the answers, that is when you should launch into the business. The first thing you need to check with yourself is the value proposition. What value are you proposing? What is it that you're doing that will be different from what others are doing? The question is this: why should I buy from you? Why should I patronize you? If you're a good painter, yeah, that's very wonderful. Thank you very much for. I'm delighted to know that you're a very good painter. If you're cleaning business, yeah, that's good. You're a good. You're very good at your job. But question is this: how are you different from company A, B, C, D? What services are you providing that others are not providing? Now, what value do we deliver? Are you going to deliver to customers? If you tell me that you're going to be cleaning, if domestic cleaning here, you're going to come into my house and you're going to clean, you're going to do deep cleaning, you're going to use the best the best detergent or the best soap, or no, okay, fine. The next door neighbor can do that as well. So why should I give you the job? Why should I hire you? What is different about what you want to what you're selling or what you're offering? And I'd like to put it back to you. The person that said she was into cleaning, what is different about your cleaning? Do you clean within a shorter? Do you clean the whole house within a short time? Do you use a product that others don't have access, others don't use? Do you clean at a price that others cannot offer? What is different about your cleaning?
It's
Are you still
about
there?
yeah. It's about competitive price. We try to keep the price a bit lower.
Okay, the price. Okay.
Yes, price. Be always on time to the customer.
Okay. You're always on time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, offer a high quality. I mean,
high quality what?
Excuse me?
High quality cleaning. What do you mean by high quality?
I mean, if it's deep cleaning, we do properly deep cleaning from top to the bottom.
Okay. Okay, so that's wonderful. What you have mentioned here, they're not different from what I probably can do or what your next door neighbor can do, what the next person would do. So in as much as your services are great, I've not seen the special value. I've not seen a minimum viable product. I've not seen what you are offering that others are not offering. And that's one of the reasons why business struggle. Before you start a business, ask yourself, what is it that I want to do that others are not doing? Look for challenges around you. Don't just do what you feel like doing. Don't just launch into a business that you're comfortable with, or that's a family business, something that you've always done before. Ask yourself, what problem are you solving? Now, which of our customers' problem are we helping to solve? Yeah. What problem are you solving? What products and services are you offering? And then to customers, and then what needs of customers are you meeting? You see, if it's about aesthetics, if it's about providing anything, it doesn't work that way. But you have to provide what people cannot really afford to do by themselves. If a person can clean his house by themselves, fine, they would not be happy to pay you. But if people cannot do that services by themselves, then that's only when they're willing to pay. For instance, if I have physical disability and I'm unable to stretch and do some stuff, I'll be happy to use your service. But as long as I'm able-bodied and I don't want to part with that money, I would struggle a lot to give to part with that money. So the first thing you have to deal with is the value proposition. What value are you providing? What is it that you are doing that others cannot do? In the next thing, which is very important to you, we'll come back to value proposition shortly, but the next thing you want to be sure about is the customer segment. Now, if I come back to customer segment, who are your customers for your product?
at the moment private. I didn't arrive to, but I will arrive very soon. I will go to some 3D designer and start to have conversation, because what is happening? Always when I go, doesn't matter what type of customer they are, always I provide 2, 3 codes. And I start from low prices to high quality, and I make for medium and high quality. And always I provide a price. I give him more option to choose, and I explain why is good to why is good to do like this, and many factors. And also with material, I do a I can say all the type of products I can deliver to customer, from low paint to the most expensive paint, and always I'll show the quality and the price. I show them everything.
Thank you. You've tried to sell to me the idea of a business, which is the value proposition. Okay, you provide you do painting, you provide the paints at a reasonable amount, you give a low price, medium price, high price so that they can choose. You're trying to get everybody's attention. But again, you've not really hit the nail on the head. What is it that is special about your painting or about your paints that others cannot compete about? That's the first
Yes,
question. The second,
always
yeah, that
always
was
I explained to the customer, if they want to replace paint wallpaper with paint, always I can bring them some products, different product, who can replace and give the possibility and advantage in their homes and quality. And I give them the opportunity. Look, this paint is more resistant, the wall can breathe, uh, and will be a high quality in your house. You'll not have problem after 5, 10 years. It's not the same. I show them how to say a presentation of product, what
okay.
have
So
before, what can have in the future, what is better for their homes.
okay, so that's fine. You give them you show them the range of products, you give them guarantee, you probably want to offer after sales services. That's fine. So if you say you offer after sales services, after they've bought it, if they have any problems, you can actually provide solution. Yeah, I would say that's a unique selling point, because most businesses don't provide after sales services. If you offer guarantee on the product,
Yes,
if anything goes wrong, you are able to replace sources or repair. So that's
yes.
guarantee or guarantee. That's a unique selling point. That I could take those as value proposition. But again, I asked you a question: who are your customers? You said private. No, that's not how to understand customers. Your customers segment represents everybody, all the segments of customers that can buy your product. For instance, before you start that business, you have to be able to imagine, you have to be able to tell those that will buy your product. If you cannot imagine the customers that would buy your product, then you don't need to go into that business, because you won't get customers. The second thing you have to do after you get your value proposition is your customer segment. Who are those that will buy your product? You can have your mass market, which is anybody. Then you need to be sure of your niche market. Are you targeting the working class? Ask yourself, are you targeting young people? Are you targeting women? Are you targeting older people? Are you targeting people of a particular culture? Are you targeting people of a particular city? You have to be able to define your market, those that would buy from you. If you operate as a very small business and you've got a very small shop, maybe at the city center or somewhere in town, ask yourself, who are those that are likely to buy from you? Is it, are there the people on the streets? Are there, I mean, who are those? You should be able to answer those questions. For instance, if you're running a cleaning business, who are those that you think can be your customers? Then you can target working class people, people that are working, that are busy, they don't have time to look after, maybe people that have children that are working, career people, maybe they're gone in the morning, drop the kids in school, the kids are in after school club, and then come back in the evening, they just eat, sleep, and then the following day they go back to work. They're busy. Now, those ones probably may need the services of the cleaning services, maybe weekends, they want to hang out, they don't have time. So if you say those will be your customers, yes, I would say, yeah, they are likely to be the people that will buy from you, that would use your services. If you say old people,
Yeah, sorry about the background noise. It's an absolute arsehole on the Metrolink.
okay. So if you now say you're targeting older people, maybe people that are above 60, above 70s, they're already old, they're feeble, they're not too strong to do the cleaning. If you target those ones, yeah, I would say that's another customer segment. If you target student hostels, maybe students that are busy, or maybe they can't devote enough time to do the cleaning, yeah, maybe. But then again, like I said, you must be able to tell those that would buy your product, so that would buy your product, or those that will use your services. So again, now that you have a value proposition and your customer segment, you need to match the two. If you're into cleaning business, for instance, and you want to do you want to do cleaning, and then, for instance, for the older people, the retired ones, the older, okay, what product are you offering to that customer segment, the old people? What kind of cleaning? Is it deep cleaning? Those ones, they don't have the strength. Okay, your product you offer to those ones is deep cleaning. Now, for the working class, those that may be too busy to do the cleaning by themselves, what product are you offering those ones? The students, for instance, that are maybe students hostel, or people that are busy, or maybe students that probably students living together that probably would need an external person to do the cleaning for them. What are you offering to them? Now, you can't offer the same product to everybody. It is possible if your customer segments if they require the same product, or the same kind of product, or the same kind of services. But again, you need to tailor your services towards each of the customer segments. So when you start your business model canvas, you need to list the different customer segments that you have. The old people, the students in the hostels, and then maybe people with physical disabilities. Those will be your customers. Then each of those customers, what product are you offering them that others are not, that will satisfy their need? If your product is not satisfying people's needs, it's not going to last. Most of the time, we start businesses and then we get friends to buy from us, we get family members to buy from us, and when everybody starts buying from us, nobody wants to buy, and then the business collapses. What we do most times is we get a product and we start looking for the customers. No, that's an error. There must be a market before you think of a product or a service. There must be. And then the way you get the markets, or the way you get your customers, will be look for a problem that exists in your society, think of a solution, and then think of those that are having the problems and those that need a solution. That's how to start with your value proposition and customer segment. For instance, I work in a building where I work, I don't have access to snacks. I can't get proper food, and I work here from 9 a.m. I leave my house around 8. Maybe I leave my house around some minutes to 8. I close around 6. I get home around 7, 8 p.m. I'm out for maybe 12 hours every day, and I'm locked up in a building where I can't get good food. Now, and that's not just me, that's every one of us working in this building, and there are a lot of us here, maybe 1,000 people working here, or let me say about 300 people working here. 300 people work in the building, they come very early, they leave very late in the evenings, they're always hungry. If they must buy food, they have to go out and buy expensive food, junk food, which is expensive. Now, number one, we spend a lot of money for the food. Number two, the food is not healthy to our body. And yet we don't have a choice, we just have to work. Now, if somebody is able to bring in healthy food for us at a cheap price and deliver it at our doorsteps, is the person not meeting our needs? Number one is meeting our needs for hunger, satisfying our needs for hunger, our needs to quench hunger. Secondly, the person is providing healthy food for us. Number two, so we're not just eating food to quench hunger, but we are eating healthy food. Then number three, the food is available at a good price. 3 things, value proposition. Number one, food to quench hunger. Number two, healthy food, which is good, which would nourish the body. Number three, the food is available at a very good price. Now, if I'm going to spend £8 to go and get some junk food, and this person is going to offer me very good food at £2, 2.5, £3, won't I go for it? I'll go for it because I'm hungry. I need to eat healthily. And number 3 is cheap. Number 4, I don't have to step out of the building. I don't need to take 30 minutes break. So you can look at the 4 things. If you're providing healthy food for me in this office, you are doing 4 things. I'm providing food. Number 2, healthy food that would nourish my body. Number 3 is cheap and affordable. Number 4, I don't have to spend extra time going outside to go and buy food that will kill me eventually. And that is value proposition. So if you want to start that kind of a business, if you have observed me and everybody else in this building, you can begin to supply us food. And that's value proposition. You are solving problems, 4 problems in one. Just one product would solve 4 issues. Now, what are your customer segments? Your customer segments, your customers are those in this building. Primary customers are those in this building. Maybe the 3 of us, maybe out of the 300 of us, maybe 200 will be interested, or 100. And that's, if you can supply food to 100 people every day, that's good business. If you are just making £1, £2 on each of those food items, if you can sell to 200, that's almost like you're making like 600, 800 pounds per day. Who makes that kind of money here in the UK? Now, so that's how it works. Think of a problem, come up with a value proposition, something to solve the problem, identify the customers that will buy the product, and then that's where your business starts. And then in all you have to do, this is just the first 2 steps that you need to take in the business before you start your business. Remember I said it is before you start the business. Now, the 3rd thing you have to do is the channels. Now, between you and the customers, how do you want to get in touch with the customers? How do you want to sell your ideas to the customers? How will you keep in touch with the customers? Is it going to be through social media? Is it going to be through leaflets? You can print leaflets. Is it going to be through mass media like radio, television? Is it going to be through billboards? Are you going to come? Is it going to be through words of mouth? Are you going to come physically to the office to to sell your idea to the customers? Remember, value proposition. You're bringing healthy food in a building where people cannot access good food. It's cheap, and then it's helps them to save time. Your customer segment are those in that building, and outside of that building, you can also supply to other offices that have similar situations with ours. We're not the only people that are locked up in a building. In the city center where we have, there are several offices as well. So if you start from this building, you can move to other buildings. Now, so your first customer segment will be this particular building where I'm in, and then other customer segment will be other buildings within the city center. And then you can actually expand your customer segment, selling the same product. Now, the channels, how will you get them? Maybe through direct marketing. You can you can reach out to them through flyers, by printing your business on flyer and letting them know about it before you even start the business. Now, the next one is the customer relationship. What kind of relationship are you going to keep with customers? What will you do to keep the customers tied to you? What will you do to keep your customers? What will you be doing? What relationship will you keep with the customers to keep them loyal to you, to make them always interested in your product? Are you going to be offering promos? For instance, if a person refers another person, maybe you'll be working on a subscription scheme. If people buy from you and then if they buy more than one, maybe if they pay for 2, they get the 3rd free. Or if they recommend somebody, a new person, you supply them the next launch free. What relationship will you keep with customers? How do you intend to build your relationship with customers? What are the promotional tools that you would use with your customers? You need to think through. So in your business, your cleaning business, in your painting business, how do you keep relationship with customers? If your customers, if they patronize you for the whole year, maybe in December, you can offer them two seasons of honestly now. You can claim for free twice. Maybe if they use it for if they patronize it for 6 months, then for 2 weeks you can do free services for them. Then maybe between July and December, if they make you happy, then you come up with something as well. What do you do to make your customers happy? What are the things that you would do to ensure that your customers don't look elsewhere? If you look at different mobile phone companies, or no, if you look at competitors, for instance, if a particular company, let me say, if a bank, if you look at the banks in the UK, for instance, if a particular bank introduces a product for kids, maybe savings or a mortgage program, you see all the rest of them coming up with the same program as well, with the same product. If you see any of these mobile phone line service providers, they come up with an idea, others will quickly copy it. It's just because they want to keep their customers. So what will you be doing to keep your customers? Providing services, quality services is wonderful, but you need to go beyond that. You need to come up with some things, some ideas, some promotional ideas that will help you, your customers happy with you. And then on this side, talk about revenue streams. Now, on this side, you'll be looking at value proposition, your product, your service, your customers, how you will get in touch with those customers, the relationship that you keep with those customers, and then the revenue stream. How will you make money from your product? For instance, if you are talking about this food I was talking about in a building like this where people cannot access good food, how will you make your money? Number one, you can make money through different routes. Number one, you can supply food, you can supply lunch, and people pay for the lunch, and that's one source of income. Again, you can ask people to subscribe for a year, and if they subscribe for a year at a particular amount, you can supply them discounted food. So in this case now, they are making commitments to buy from you for the rest of the year, so you can offer them at half the price. For instance, if you're going to make you're selling the food at £4 per meal, and then you're asking people to subscribe for the year, and if they subscribe for the year, you're going to offer them the food at 2.5, £2.50. Now let's assume that what it takes in all to make the food is about £2. So if you offer people subscription, if people make commitment to buy for the rest of the year, you offer them at 2.5. But if it's just once off, if there's no relationship, if there's no permanent relationship, then you can say they pay £4. And then if people would make a commitment for the year, you ask them to subscribe at £200 for the year, and then they start buying at 2.5. Now, your revenue stream, number one, there are 3 revenue streams here, or 2 or 3 here. Number one, pay as you go. Those that buy at £4, in which they don't make commitment, that's one revenue stream. So £4 times the number of people that buy from you, or the number of people that bought from you without subscribing. Then number 2 revenue stream, those that subscribe. How much are they subscribing? They're subscribing at £200 per year. So that's £200 for as many people that subscribe to your business. That's already £200 per year. So that's another revenue stream. Your third revenue stream is the 0.5 that is on each of those products. So again, you need to look at all your revenue streams and see all the possible ways money can come in. And that's for those that bought the food in the office. What about if there's going to be a party and they can make a special request from you? Now, if they make a special request for maybe somebody's having a party, they can make a special request, and then that's another revenue stream. Now, you need to identify all of those possible revenue streams and document them. Now, I'll quickly I'll rush to the remaining side of the business model canvas, and then would end there. Now, the next thing you need to
Sorry, OJ.
Yes, please.
There was a question in the chat about when you were talking about the revenue streams on how you kind of mitigate for things like inflation when calculating your potential revenue.
Okay. So inflation would not really impact significantly on your revenue, but it will impact significantly on your cost structure. So we'll come to that shortly. But again, you make your plan based on a yearly basis. So for a particular year, you make your you make your projection, and then the second year, and then the third year. So you control for inflation in the previous years, but you're not likely to be significantly impacted by inflation within a year. We have a lot to discuss, but I mean, I would just try and rush through. So you plan based on each year, and then you can factor in inflation in the cost structure by reducing your income, your revenue stream based on the percentage of the inflation that you have in each year. By the time we get the cost structure, we would understand it better. Now, I want to quickly jump to key partners. Okay, it's key partners. Now, when you want to start a business, you don't want to. I'm jumping here. The key partners. You don't want to you don't want to bear all the liabilities. It is very wise of you. It will be very wise of you to share the liabilities with people, and then and that will also affect the profit. So the profit you share, the liabilities you share. If your business work, then it's good. You share the profit. But if you're going to lose, then you would share the liabilities as well. You won't bear you won't bear all the weight of the failure of the business. One of the problems people have is like they start the business all alone with their own money, or they borrow money and then they invest all the money in the business, and when the business fails, they're unable to recover. They go bankrupt. The bank is chasing them. They're having a lot of issues. Some develop diseases and they die, and that's why people are scared of business. But when you want to start a business, do not start all by yourself. Look for partners. For instance, if you want to start this business, even the cleaning business or the painting business that you want to talk about, if you want to do cleaning business, you will need to have a lot of products. You need transportation. You will need other things. For instance, for the transportation, you don't need to buy a car, an official car. You can partner with the taxi company to say for the cleaning. If you need to move far, for instance, if you need to go to places you need to go to places and you need to go with all your gadgets. Now you don't need to buy a car of your own. You can partner with the taxi company, and then you let them be the ones to take you there and back, and then they're part of your business. Okay, if you're into painting, what you do basically is just to paint, then you don't necessarily have to buy the paint. You can partner with the company that sells paint. So as much as possible, we don't need to bear the liabilities of the businesses that we want to go into. For instance, you want to be supplying food, healthy food for offices, like I said, like I'm sharing. You don't have to go ahead and buy all the food. You don't have to buy the cooking equipment. You don't need to rent the space. Now look for a space that you can get for free. Free in the sense that the person has the space but is not using the space. And then you can ask to use the space and pay a particular amount or a cheaper amount. For instance, you see when you get to plazas or malls, you see different businesses, or particularly city centers, you see a particular business occupying the first floor, another business in the second floor, another business taking the third floor. They are sharing the liabilities. Now, when you have identified the partners that you can use, that you would need, maybe a taxi company, a cleaning company. For instance, you might even need to partner with other cleaning companies as well if you're cleaning. For instance, if you become overwhelmed with customers, are you going to tell the customers no? Then you have to outsource again. You don't. I mean, if you need to outsource, you need to. Is outsource? Yeah, you need to outsource to another cleaning business, even though it's in your name. So again, we don't have to bear the brunt of doing everything by ourselves. We need to have strategic partners, and when you have those partners, you need to be able to define what each partners will do for you, and that takes us to key resources. Now, between me and this company that I'm partnering with, what would they be doing for my business? Would they be okay? This taxi company will be providing transportation. Okay, this company will be providing this and that and that. Now, if you look at there's all of these big shops. If when you enter them, you see a lot of things in them that a lot of things that they're selling. Those things don't belong to them. For instance, look at Tesco. Everything in Tesco is not branded Tesco. They sell products of other people. That's key partnerships. Then number two, most of the things you see in those businesses, they've not paid for them. Those things are supplied to them. They sell, make their profit, and then they return the money to those that supplied them. That's how it works. So you need to identify, but if Tesco wanted to buy everything and start selling, it's going to require a lot more cash than that. So you begin to think like, okay, you might even, if for instance you're selling a product, you might need suppliers, distributors to bring their products into your business for you to sell. You make your profit, and then before you now return the capital, you need to think about key partners and what would they be doing for you. If for instance, I'm talking about this business of supplying food in workplaces, I will need a taxi company, I will need a transportation, I will need somebody to cook the food, I will need to buy the food, I will need ingredients. So can I now start a farm? Should I now start a farm? Should I open a kitchen where we cook? Should I also go and buy several cars that I will use? No, I need to partner with taxi companies, with chefs, with farmers that will supply the ingredients. And when they supply, I don't have to pay them. Only when the business transaction, only when I've made my money, that's when I need to pay. So when I have these key partners, I need to have an agreement with them based on the resources that supply me, and I will pay with them. And then again, key activities. What are the key activities? What are the things what are the series of activities that I will be doing with the partners, and what would they be supplying for me? Now, when all of this is done, you need to ask yourself, what is it going to cost me? Now, if you look at what is it going to cost me to start up in terms of fixed costs, in terms of variable cost. Fixed cost is the cost of setting the business up. Variable cost is the cost that I will incur day-to-day running of the business. Now, if you can think about the costs and think about the revenue, if the revenue is bigger than the cost, then you are in business. You can start that business. If your revenue is equal to the costs, then you can still run the business because that's marginal, no profit, no gain, but you won't be at loss. If your cost structure is more than the revenue, then you can't go into that business. That's why a lot of businesses start business and they run into loss. No, if you did your business model canvas before you started that business, you'll be able to tell if your costs will be higher than your revenue. Everything based on assumption and prediction. Now, this is how we work the business model canvas. We deal with it. Each one of these business model canvas, we can deal with one per day. I mean, for 3 hours. It's like a master class or an entrepreneurship class. This is usually taught over like 13 weeks, 12 weeks. Now, when you have done all of this, it is important that you plan within you get out of the building. That's what we call it. You need to test these things. For instance, if this is what you want to make and sell, if this is the idea you had, ask customers, go to the potential customers and ask them, what will you do with something like this? Would you be happy to have this? How much will you be able to pay for it? Only when you have done this, when you do your business model canvas and you launch your business, you are likely to fail. You are likely to still fail, even though you have done your due diligence. You are still likely to fail. For instance, if this is what I developed based on my model canvas, based on my assumption, the fact that there's a problem, I'm solving the problem, I've identified the customers, I've identified my partners, I've developed everything. The 9 business model canvas is ready. Now I'm ready to launch. No, the answer is no, you can't start. You need to get out of the building, get out of your comfort zone and go to the potential customers. That customer segment that you think will buy, go and show them the product. This is what I have developed. What will you do with this? Do you think you'll be happy to pay for this? Somebody will say, oh, okay, this is food, right? Well, this is a wonderful idea, but I'm not willing to pay this much for it. Okay, how much will you be able to pay? Will you be happy to pay for it? It tells you a particular amount. You go to other people. What do you think about serving you food, providing food for you in the office, good food, healthy food? Some people will say it's a wonderful idea. Some will say it's a terrible idea. Some will say, yeah, I want food. Some will say, I just want something like a sandwich, something that I can easily pack. Then from there, you get ideas. Again, because you have done your business with the car, that's just the starting point. Then you need to go back and pivot. then you go back and change that minimum product, minimum viable product, that value proposition, you will go back and change it based on what you have found in the market where you are testing your products. Okay? You need to test that assumption. You need to get out of building and see if people really, really want it. It's called customer discovery. If customers don't really want it, you may design this for customers and customers say, no, we actually want something else, maybe something more fanciful. Then you need to go back and prepare that and go and do what the customers want. Then that would automatically change the customer segment, change all of those things on the canvas. Then again, you test that product. Once you test it, the new product, again, see the rate of acceptance. And then when you've gotten to a point in which customers are saying the same thing about the product, that is where you can now launch that product. Only then can you be sure that when you come up with that product, there are already people that are going to buy, and then your revenue stream, your cost structure would work. I'd like to stop here. I think I'm taking a lot of time, but in case we have one or two questions, I'd like to stop here.
Cool. Thank you, OJ. I'm just going to put my email address in the chat just so that if there are any questions like after this workshop that you don't get to ask now, then you could just email and we'll get those answered for you. But if there's any questions right now for OJ, please do unmute yourself and then just ask your question. But if there's no questions, thank you very much, OJ, for that workshop. I will send the recording to everyone that registered on this workshop, so you can watch it again later. This has been everything about the business model canvas and why it's important. So yes, I would like to thank you again, OJ, for your time, and everyone for joining this workshop. Have a lovely afternoon, and we'll see you next week for the next one.